And this is Dragonesque 4 coming at you. And today I'm going to introduce you to Harlot. And then this is I'm bringing you another make project. This is a fun make. This is not a like a magical make or anything. This is just for a fun make. This is a rubber band gun project, and I'm a lifetime member of a National Association of Rubber Band Gun Shootists, NARBs. And basically, we just like to shoot rubber band guns at rubber bands at targets, and it's fun. It's something to do, and you can't kill a person with a rubber band unless it's a really really incredibly large rubber band. So they're safe, more or less a safe project, as long as you don't shoot at your eyes or something. So I'm going to tell you how to build one. Now, this rubber band gun here that I call Harlot because I used a PVC pipe that was from the Charlotte Pipe Company, and after I put it together, I didn't cover up the word Harlot, so it's the Harlot gun. And this one here is a switchable switchable barrel, so you could use a larger rubber band, or you could switch it to a smaller barrel to use a smaller size rubber band, so you could switch it out. This has a trigger on it, and I'll walk you through it. All right, you're going to need some 3/4 inch pipe that's going to be approximately 13 inches in length on one end, and then you're going to need a piece cut to size that's about 4 inches, and you're going to need one 3 inches. And then that's will form the larger size gun barrel with that dimensions. And this is the 13-inch here. This is the 4, and then this is the 3-inch here. You're going to need a T connector, a 3/4 inch T connector. You're going to need a 3/4 inch elbow, and you're going to need 2 small clothespins, which you can get at craft stores or like some sewing supply places. You're going to need a little tiny block of wood, and you're going to need some kind of glue and some tape. Now, with this one here, I made this part here. I glued this together so that doesn't come apart, but I didn't glue this to this, so I could switch out the barrels. Now, for the smaller barrel, you're going to need a piece of PVC pipe that's going to be 7 inches in length. This will make the smaller size barrel. Okay, now what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to get a saw or a cutter or a grinder of some kind. You could use like a Ryobi or something, and you're just going to have to cut out a notch into the end of this on both sides, so it goes all the way across. And that's what you're going to hook your rubber bands over. And I recommend smoothing it out with a file or a sander or something, or so it's nice and smooth, so you don't have the rubber bands getting caught on stuff. So you're going to have to notch that out somehow. You can either do that with a pipe cutter, PVC pipe cutter, or you can do it with possibly a knife, or possibly melt it out. If you're a younger child, you might want to have an adult do that step for you and do the cutting for you. And then what you're going to do, you're going to take your elbow piece, and then you're going to put your 4-inch cut piece of PVC into the elbow, and then onto one side of the connector. Then you're going to put your 3-inch piece, which will form your handle, into the bottom of the T connector. You're going to put your long piece here, and again, if you want to make this permanent, you can glue this into this piece here if you want, but if you want to make one that switches out like this, then don't glue it right there. And if you're going to glue it, just use your PVC, the instructions on how to use the glue. It's usually a 2-step process. Just read your instructions. Okay, Now you're going to take two small clothespins, and they're really tiny clothespins. You're going to glue one on the bottom, and I used hot melt glue. You can use probably other glues as well, but I used hot melt glue, and I also glued one on the top with hot melt glue, and then I reinforced it by wrapping a little bit of tape by going through the back end of the clothespin right there on both sides, and I also braced the front end on this one here. That'll give it a little bit more strength so the glue won't pull off as easily. Now you're going to cut a small wooden block, and in this case I wrapped it in tape, and then I glued it to the bottom of the clothespin on the bottom. I didn't glue one onto the top because it seems like if you're targeting, it wouldn't be as easy to shoot with it if it was on top. So you want to shoot off the top by just pressing like that, and on the bottom you can pull the trigger. Okay, and then so you just glue that in place, and again you can reinforce that, and that's the reason I use hot melt glue, because wood glue, it doesn't seem as sturdy when it's coming this way, because wood glue is meant to go straight, fiber to fiber if you're woodworking. And if it's going like fiber against fiber, which that would be the case, because the graining of the wood would go one way, and if it's going against the grain on the other way, it may not hold as well. That's why I use the hot melt glue. Okay, so you're going to do that on the pipe, and make sure you put your pipe in place here before you glue it, so that way you'll have enough clearance so when you pull this apart, if you're going to make the switchable unit, you'll have enough clearance that it'll actually be able to go into the pipe. Now for the smaller one, again is the dimensions are 7 inches roughly, and you're just going to repeat the process of cutting out a notch and gluing it. And again, you put this into the tube first so you can have enough clearance. And in order to switch it out, you just take one out, and then just put the other one in its place. So that way you could switch from a longer sized rubber band. You can use a smaller size rubber band. And I'll put this big one in. I'll load it up here, and hopefully I can do this with one hand while I'm holding the camera. I'm going to try. I'm going to load it up, and I'm going to let you see it getting firing. Right. I'm having a hard time loading this with one hand here. All right. Well, anyways, I loaded one on the bottom. Let's see, you just go over the end like this, and then just pull it in place, lock it into the clothespin here, which is right there. All right, and you see, and you can pull the trigger and fire it off. I can't really do this right while holding this with one hand, but you get the idea. And that is the Harlot, or if you want to name it some other thing, you can. But that's the Harlot PVC trigger activated rubber band gun. And again, if you're shooting off the top, you would just shoot off like that and press down like that. And if you're shooting off the bottom layer, you would just pull the trigger. And it's a fun little thing, good for kids, and it's a nice little project that you can make for your kids, or help them to make it, or let them make it themselves. Depending upon if they're young enough or old enough, whatever, you might have to help them with the cutting and maybe the shaping or something. But you could have them glue it together or something. But anyways, it's a real cheap project to do. Doesn't cost that much to make. A length of pipe would be maybe $1. These things are probably like $2 for a whole package of them, and you only need 2 of them. A little block of wood and rubber bands, of course. Really simple project. And again, you can switch out the barrels to make it a long shot or a short shot barrel. And I hope you enjoyed that. Go have some fun and shoot at some targets. Bye.